Hello, welcome back to another installation. What would Lou do? So I'm kind of starting this video with the end at the beginning, just to cover a couple of things that I would do differently regarding installing this grip module here. But at first I do want to address the fact that the video seems to have taken a little longer than what people anticipated. I even got a comment saying, I thought you guys were going to do that video, and so on and so forth. It's like, these videos take a lot to produce. You've got to set up your shot, obviously film everything, then you've got to review everything, then you've got to edit everything, then you've got to review it again, then you have to upload it. There's a lot that goes into it, and this type of video here is even harder to get past YouTube than what it used to be, if they even allow me to upload it in the first place. But like I said, I told you guys I would show you how to install this, and so I'm going to stick to my word. I just want you to realize, hey, I'm going to bat for you. I would hope that you guys would do the same for us. You're supporting us. You guys are the ones that I'm going to go to bat for in the future. Like, so when we, announce some of the giveaways we've got coming up, you guys, right, the ones who are in the comments, the ones who are sharing, the ones who are liking, subscribed, and all that, you guys are going to get multiple entries, whereas everybody else, they'll get the one for subscribing and whatever, and that's it. So it's kind of a team effort here. So just wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate every one of you that actually take the time to watch our content, to share it, like it, comment on it, right? Because all those things really do help move it forward. I know it's tiring to hear everyone say that, but it really is true. Now that we've hit the 5,000 subscriber mark and beyond now, we've actually got companies who are contacting us rather than us having to try and run around and contact everybody else. That's going to just allow us to bring you more and more content. Truth be told, I would love to do more content like this, showing how-tos, and right, that's why I got into this to begin with. It was never to be a product reviewer or anything like that. It just gravitates toward that because that's kind of where YouTube is as far as guns go. If you get into gunsmithing, they're not going to let you monetize that. They'll still put ads on it, but they're not going to pay you. Like I said, the premise of today's video is to install a Prodigy grip module on the Mac 9 comp. And if you're not familiar, this is what the original grip looked like. Okay, it's definitely not the worst grip in the world, but right here was the main issue I had. These little sort of S kind of swirly things here. This vertically is really slippery. The polymer that they use, it doesn't feel as robust as something like the Prodigy or some of the other manufacturers use. Obviously, you can go with an aluminum grip if you want. Me, I'm fine with the Prodigy grips. I don't care about drink can grips. To me, they're overpriced. There are some nice ones out there. I've seen some from like Chile, I believe, is one of the companies. They're nice and they grip really well, but they are way too expensive for just a bunch of melted drink cans. I mean, come on, let's be real here, guys. So me, I'm a simple man. This right here, if it works, it works. Does it look as flashy as something like a Chile grip or an Atlas grip or something like that? No, but I don't need that. As long as it functions and feels good to me, that's all that matters. Two things that I would do differently, and I'm going to recommend that you do not do. And that is right here, the magwell and the magazine release. The magwell, I didn't, get in there with the Dremel or the razor blade or any of that to make this thing fit on here. I literally just kept pushing and pulling and beating and put all my weight down on that thing. And I eventually got it to pop on there, which was not easy. The pressure from the spring, the slide has to be off while you're trying to install this, put the pin in and all that. It definitely was not easy. And in the video, you don't even get to see me do it because of how hard it is. You know, it's going to be rocking the table, moving the camera around, all that. But out of curiosity and to appease you guys, and to answer that question for you, yes, it will fit on here, but it's a nightmare to stick on there unless you're going to remove some material. So I would just suggest you get one that's fitted for a Prodigy grip and leave it at that. And similarly, I recommend the same for the mag release. This mag release does not fit in this grip without some fitting. This side right here, this is where it's much wider than that hole there. And so that does require some fitting and a little more involved than what I'm comfortable with. I don't like changing firearms like that. I know that yes, it will still function. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it functions perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But making these kinds of adjustments, they usually void your warranty, and that's not what you want, because if something goes wrong with this, catastrophically speaking, you don't want to be stuck with it. Another thing is the way it operates is different. On the Prodigy grip module, there's a little groove right here, and that's where the little lever right here, this little foot, it drops down into that groove. This one is further in the middle here, and it's got to go past this little wall. There's like a little gap, and then it drops down right there. It's not even like, oh, it's just a little bit oversized. Like, no, even the operation is a little bit different. So I'm just going to recommend that you omit these two things, but everything else, like literally everything else, can carry over. Now that I think about it, this part does not carry over. If you look here on the Mac 9, it has this slope, and the Prodigy does not do that. But otherwise, yeah, feel free to follow along with the video, and you can make your Mac 9 look something similar to this. Okay, so in order for you to be able to do this, you either already own a Springfield Prodigy, or you're going to need to purchase a couple of things in order to do this. Obviously, you would need to purchase the grip module. I actually have a couple of Prodigies, but I have purchased another grip module, and so I actually do have a part number here. And you will also need the mainspring housing. Okay, this goes on the back. It goes right in this little gap right here. You will need that as well. This will fit on there, but when it comes to the bottom here, there is a difference. This is flat, and this one has more of a bevel, and it's kind of rounded over. And this, you just tell Springfield that you want the Springfield Prodigy Mainspring Housing Kit, the full size. This is $40, and this I believe is like $35. Now, as far as tools you will need, you are going to need some punches and either some hex bits or some Allen keys. You can see here I've got a combination of both. Some of these actually come with the Mac 9, the stainless steel one right here, and then this one here. Otherwise, these are all things that I've purchased separately. If you want to get some punches and you don't know quite what to get, Harbor Freight actually has a good pack of them. I think it's like 8. Hold on, let me see. This little pack right here, it is indeed an 8-piece kit. And you can see you get quite a variety of punches. Lifetime warranty, it's only like $15, so definitely if you need a punch kit, I would suggest going with that. All right, so first things first, obviously you want to clear your weapon. There's no ammo in here. I just had this, you know, to complete the firearm. But you can see here, nothing in the chain bore, everything is empty. You just got to break her down, pull it back to where this little kind of moon shape is, and then pull the slide release out. Get rid of that. We don't need the top. One thing I recommend you do is put your parts in the order that you take them off. Okay, so one row, if you run out of space, do another row, and then go back the way that you took everything off. Okay, so in order for you to remove the safety, the hammer has to be cocked back, and when you go to install it, same thing. This safety does not want to come out very easily. There it went. When you're pulling that out, make sure this detent doesn't shoot out the side, because that is what happens a lot of times. Go ahead and release your hammer, then take the other side of your safety out, and then your grip safety will come out. Before I get too far ahead, speaking of safeties, when I first got this, there was quite a bit of movement on the safety. If you have this problem where one of the sides is like really wobbly or something, take that and squeeze that lightly, right, little at a time, with a pair of needle nose pliers, and just kind of sneak up on it, and eventually you will feel to where there's no more movement in there. So for the next part, you want that hammer forward, because that's going to take stress, tension off of the grip pin here. And so here comes our tape. I'm going to put 2 up here, and see how I want to line this up. Here's where your punches will come in. You can use whatever punch you can get in there. Do try to be careful about the mag well. I'm going to show you this, regrettably so, but you can see on mine, I did scuff it. Of all the times I've taken this thing apart, because I've taken it on and off and on and off, not just to swap it out, but just, you know, tuning the trigger and the sear spring and all that stuff. And one time I hit it and it slips off and goes whoosh. Luckily it didn't take all the finish off, but it is a nice scuff on there, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, so you just want to tap your pin out. This is pretty much bottomed out now, so I'll take this longer one and just finish the job. This is a longer grip pin because of the magwell. It comes with 2. Actually, a shorter one in case you don't want to use the magwell. God, what is this thing? Like it doesn't want to let loose. There you go. Goodness. So now the magwell comes off. You just set that aside. Now you take your mainspring housing off. If you wanted to, you could just get the Prodigy mainspring housing, right? Because that's the main thing you need. And you can just take the guts out of this and swap them over to here. Now your sear spring, or as I call it a lot of times, a leaf spring. This is, let's just show you what this does in case you don't know. This one here, this is for your grip safety. So this rides basically on there. So this middle one here, this controls your sear and the disconnector. So it goes up and right in there. And then the last one is actually the one that controls how strong or how light your trigger is, the trigger pull. Now you can remove the hammer bar if you want, the hammer and the bar if you want to, by taking out that pin right there, just pushing it through this side, because there is a possibility it can get stuck in behind here. It falls down in there if you let it swing. It can be kind of a pain to get out because once you try to push it back up there, it kind of binds up. But if you just leave it up like this, you shouldn't have any issues with it. So next, what you're going to do is take out the screws. Again, I wish I could tell you guys the sizes. Some of these are Allen keys that have come with different guns and different optics and things like that. And some of them are things that I've accumulated just, you know, by my trade of being a mechanic. So, you know, I've just got a lot of tools and I can't tell you what these sizes are because Allen keys don't come labeled, unfortunately. So yeah, you just poke those out. In case you're not familiar, this is what you've got in here. They go up at the top of the magazine well like this. That keeps it from spinning in there so that you can tighten the screws. And then here, you're going to take off these two screws right here. Now this is like a Chicago style screw. One's a female end and one's a male end, and then they kind of, it screws into each other like that. If you have the Mac 9, then you will have this Allen key is what will fit in this hole right here. So as long as you take and match it up to something else, this is again one that I had in my toolbox, you can undo this. If you only have one, you're not going to be able to spin the other side because you have two hex heads here. When you're putting these back in, do make sure to put Loctite, not only on the small ones, but on these as well. I tightened them, obviously I tightened them, you know, pretty well as I was testing, you know, how the gun fired with the, you know, the setup that I had. Because I didn't put Loctite on them, they walked themselves back out, and I only shot maybe 50 rounds. So it doesn't take much for these things to work themselves loose. Speaking of work loose, you just kind of wiggle that, and then yeah. And so all this, you're just going to keep the way it is and just set it to the side. So you are going to need the Allen key to remove the button from the magazine release. Okay, and just take those off and sit those right there. And so the way that this comes out, it's got this basically like this little flathead. This is another thing I use the tweezers for, because they've got like basically like a flat edge. I use this almost like my like a small flathead screwdriver. But so you're gonna depress this a little bit and you will turn it. You'll feel that when you've got it far enough, it will come out. Put that over there, and then your trigger bow comes off. Now, if you are going to change out your trigger shoe, because you know the Mac does come with a couple more, this would be the perfect time to do it, because when it's on the grip module there, you can only turn these Allen keys so much at a time. So definitely, if you're going to do it, now would be the time to do it, right? Because you can just stick it in there and turn like that, and then swap it out. If you weren't going to do all this, then yeah, sure, sit there and, you know, inch the Allen key back and forth. But otherwise, now would be the perfect time to do it. Now you're going to get your protege grip, and then you're going to go in reverse and put all the stuff back in the same way that it came off. You will start with your trigger shoe. I will tell you that when you go to stick this in the Prodigy grip module, this is going to be a little stiff. I have gotten it loosened up, It took a little bit of fitting, and by fitting I mean basically just kind of working it back and forth. The very mild sanding along these two walls right here. That was where it was kind of getting hung up. But yeah, now it's just basically like it's part of it. So you put that in there. I did fit this, okay? I fit this to come in here, but it is definitely time consuming. In hindsight, I would I would definitely just either use the ones that come with the Prodigy. Now, if you don't have one of those, obviously that's another expense you have to take into consideration. This style that comes with the little buttons is what they call them. These I've seen on recently on, I think it was Ben Stoger's site, these competition shooters. I don't remember which one I think it was USPSA, I think is the one he was part of. But yeah, so I fit this one in here, but in hindsight, I would definitely go and purchase one of those. It's like $40, and it has arguably a better button than this. It kind of actually goes more toward your finger instead of just like a little spare tire there. It kind of comes back. So I will definitely look into getting one of those. This doesn't fit well. Even once you fit it in the grip module here, there is a ledge that hangs over the wall here. And when you're pushing your magazines up in there, yeah, you can see here before I went and addressed that issue, you can see right there it was scuffing the magazine, and it did not even want to come out very easily. That's why I suggest you just go and get one that actually fits in here. But if you're hard-headed, you can you see that this will definitely work like that. Now you just keep on going. So we're going to take your grip module and your frame, and you're going to snap that back on there. So if you don't use thread locker very often, there is, believe it or not, there are instructions on the thing. And you are supposed to let this sit for 24 to 36 hours. I suggest 36 if you can. If you absolutely need the thing quick, 24 is the minimum. Okay, and since this one is the male end, we're going to put a tiny drop. A small drop. Okay, let me see if I can show you here just how small we're talking. Ooh, see, that actually was probably too much. No, that's actually pretty good. It's basically just right there on the side. And make sure that whatever you're using is in here, seated properly, and is the correct size, because these screws tend to be a bit on the soft side. Now, these aren't too bad, nor are these. The optic screws, on the other hand, are really, really soft. A little birdie told me, actually, that they are having to address those soft screw issues. I'm assuming they're going to send people... probably not everybody, but those who complain about it, registered their firearms for the warranty, all that, and who have complained, they will more than likely get a new set of screws. It'll probably be also like a voluntary upgrade kind of a thing. because it's not like the screws that go into an optic. It's the ones that hold the little plate. This plate right here, the screws that they supply that hold these in there are no good. Go and put the final clampages on it. Alrighty. Okie dokie, moving right along. Okay, so now you're going to take your sear spring. There's a little gap. Right? That's where this little foot sits in. Now, what helps is if you put it in like that and then put the foot. You want to see this middle leaf on top of the disconnector, and then you want to see the leaf on the far left on top of this right here. You see I'm lifting that up? That is your sear. That is what controls your trigger pull, these two components. If this is behind that or under that, we'll say, it will not work. If this is somehow under the disconnector, it will not work. So it's got to be laying on top of both of those things. Okay, and so if it looks like that, you are good to move on to the second step. So now you just take the mainspring housing, slide it up in there, and get it going a good amount of the way. And then this bar drops down into that little slot there. Obviously, you just kind of want to push it up a little at a time until you get it right in the middle. Okay, it's got to be right down in the middle. If it's on the side or something else, it's not going to work correctly. Now, if you're planning to use this magwell on this grip, you're gonna have to do some fitting, and by fitting I mean you're gonna have to take off a little bit of material in a couple of places. I didn't realize it was going to be so difficult. I'll show you actually. So this is the compact grip module, okay? And if you look here, obviously the mainspring housing is sticking out on that one a little bit. If you hold these two together, okay, you'll see that they are pretty much identical. Okay, and if you look from the side, right, it's pretty much the same width. But here, if you check this out, this is one thing I would tell you though, if you do have a compact, or you want to put a compact module, say even on your Mac 9, you would be able to use the magwell. Let me see if I can get this to go on there, and boom, look at that. See, it went right on there. And so that made me want to put it on this one. But once I started, I realized it was not happening. I kept trying persistently because I was thinking, oh, well, it's just a little snug, it'll fit. But then you can see what's happened here is that there's quite some scarring, and the grip is quite marred. And in a couple places, you see it's very shiny because it literally scrapes some of the material off right there and right there. So if you were going to use this, you would have to kind of knock these areas down. I don't recommend you do that. I just recommend you go and get something that's fitted for a Prodigy grip module. The only reason I'm going to put it back on there is because I'm already in it now. This is already messed up. So let me try to squish this back on there, and we'll go to the next step. All right, that actually, goodness, what is all this now? Okay, so it actually wasn't that hard that time. I think it's finally getting accustomed to being on here. What I did was I just put it on the floor and pushed down, and it just popped. Because this wasn't specifically made for this grip, the holes don't quite line up perfectly as what they do with the Mac 9 grip. So driving this in is going to be pretty intense, we'll say. Okay, so that, like I said, went in pretty easily. Obviously it's not all the way, but it did start because I've done this a few times, taking it off and on and off and on. The magwell, that is. You, however, are not going to have this easy of a time. It's really, really a pain in the anus. And there stuff goes falling over. That's pretty much it. Now these last few steps are very, very simple. So you take your grip safety. You can do this one of two ways. You can put the arm in there first and then try to do the foot. I usually just do the foot and then put it in like that. Okay, and then so again, if you need to adjust your safety, now would be the perfect time to do that before you stick it back in. Remember here I said the long side goes toward the safety, the other end of the detent goes toward the slide release. Okay, and now make sure your hammer's locked back. Don't forget that. And so now you kind of want to line these two up, and you want the other side of the safety to be about the same. And so once you get it about the same, hold it between your fingers like that. And now this is where something small and thin, like a really tiny flathead screwdriver or something like this will come into play, because you see right there, the detent is now preventing the safety from going in. Like I could squeeze on that all day long and it's not going anywhere. So this is where this comes in to push this forward, and make sure you're on there really well, because again, if this slides off, that's gonna potentially shoot across the room. So just push it forward, and then you'll feel when your safety goes in, it locks together, and there you go. All right, so good to go. Now what you want to do is test your safety. So shouldn't be able to pull that trigger. Just keep your finger on keep your thumb on the hammer, just so it doesn't fly forward. And nothing. Okay, so safety off, flies forward. You can see the disconnector moves that right there, and nothing, and fall. So there you go. That is it. You are done. So now just run through with your lubrications. I'm going to use some of this gun butter. This is a new lubricant we're trying out here. We've got some grease on the way too. If you're not familiar with it, that's it right there. And it has like a pinkish Pepto-Bismol kind of look. It reminds me a lot of transmission fluid, honestly. It doesn't have that same foul smell, which is quite a relief, because I would hate for the gun to smell like that. Okay, so this hole right here, you want to go and put this through. Make sure it's lined up before you slide that back. And then once you line it up with your little slot, the little crescent moon as I call it, Unloaded. There we go. Reset. Okay. And try your safety. Nothing. Fires. Safety. Fires. Okay. So this is probably my final configuration of the Mac 9. Only thing really that is subject to change is probably the light and the optic. I don't really see much else changing. I hope you guys could follow along with that. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know some of you guys are going to be seasoned and used to, you know, what this part does and what that part does, and so you'll probably be skipping a little bit. But I always approach these videos with the mindset that there's somebody who's going to watch this who has no clue about what we're talking about. So I try to use all the correct names, the terms, and explain what everything does. And I know a lot of people get probably tired of that, but you know, we're trying to be helpful. We're not trying to show off and just trying to do things, but not let anyone know what we're doing or how they can do it themselves, right? Because this right here just saved you a good bit of money taking it to a gunsmith and having him do it. If you guys haven't picked one of these up yet, I would strongly urge you to do so. This one has been fantastic, or funtastic, right? It is just, it shoots great. I will be doing my full review on this very soon. I have a few hundred more rounds to put through this to verify that all my adjustments are reliable and dependable. And if so, then yeah, I will definitely be carrying this. This will fit in any Prodigy holster as long as it bears the same light. Yeah, man, can't beat it. So check it out if you haven't. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up today's video. If you found this video helpful, we ask that you strike that like, swirl that bell, subscribe and vibe with us to make us feel all appreciated, baby. We appreciate you guys for watching. As we always say, seek the Lord while it may be found, and call upon him while he is near, because he is near unto those that be of a broken heart, and save such that be of a contrite spirit. If you draw near to God, he will draw near to you. He resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So cast yourself down before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Until next time, my friends, take care and God bless.